Rain hammered against the windshield hard enough to blur the world outside. Maya sat in the driver's seat, gripping the steering wheel, so tightly her knuckles looked pale in the flashing red light of the intersection. In the back seat, her 7-year-old daughter slept curled beneath an oversized hoodie, hugging a stuffed rabbit missing one eye. Maya hadn't slept in almost 2 days. Not really. Every time she closed her eyes, she heard his voice again. Cold. Controlled. Cruel in ways bruises never could explain. You're impossible to love. The words still sat inside her chest like broken glass. Her phone buzzed again on the passenger seat. ETHAN calling. She stared at it. The rain got heavier. The phone buzzed again. Then again. Maya finally reached over with trembling fingers and turned the phone completely off. Silence filled the car. For a moment, she just sat there breathing, trying not to cry, trying not to wake her daughter, trying not to drive back. Because leaving a toxic marriage sounded brave in movies. But in real life, it felt terrifying. Lonely. Like stepping off a cliff with a child in your arms. Maya looked into the rearview mirror at her sleeping daughter and whispered softly, "I'm sorry I stayed so long." Outside, thunder rolled across the sky. And 3 blocks away, Daniel Carter stood alone in a hospital parking garage, staring at the voicemail he still couldn't delete after 11 months. His wife's voice. The last thing she ever sent him before cancer took her away. "Don't forget to eat dinner this time, okay?" He listened to it every night. Like punishment. Like proof she once existed. Tonight, his 8-year-old son was waiting at home with a school project neither of them remembered to finish. And Daniel couldn't even gather the strength to start the car. Because grief was strange. People thought it became smaller over time. But sometimes, it simply became quieter. Hidden behind grocery shopping. Laundry. School pickups. Forced smiles. And exhaustion. 2 broken people. Only a few streets apart. Both drowning silently. Neither knowing their lives were about to collide. The apartment building smelled faintly of old carpet and burnt coffee. Maya carried the final box up 3 flights of stairs while balancing her purse on one shoulder. Her daughter Lily walked beside her, dragging the stuffed rabbit across the floor. "Mommy," Lily whispered, "are we staying here forever?" Maya stopped outside apartment 3B. Forever. The word hurt. Because she honestly didn't know. She forced a smile anyway. For a while. Lily nodded quietly. Children understood more than adults realized. Maya unlocked the door. The apartment was tiny. Cramped kitchen. Scratched wooden floors. Thin walls. But it was safe. And after years of living inside emotional warfare, safe felt luxurious. Maya set the box down and exhaled shakily. Then she heard yelling downstairs. Not angry yelling. Panic. A child crying. A man's frustrated voice. Maya immediately froze. Her body reacted before her brain did. Her pulse accelerated. Fear climbed her spine. Lily noticed instantly. "Mom." Maya swallowed hard. "It's okay," she whispered automatically. But her hands were shaking. Downstairs, Daniel knelt beside his son Noah near the apartment mailboxes. Scattered construction paper covered the floor. "You forgot it was due today," Daniel asked tiredly. Noah wiped his tears aggressively. "You forgot too." That hit harder than it should have. Daniel closed his eyes briefly. Right. He had forgotten. Again. The school project. The permission slip. Picture day last month. Everything lately felt like surviving underwater. "I'm sorry, buddy." Noah sniffed. "You say that a lot now." Daniel looked away immediately. "Because kids didn't mean to break your heart." But they did. All the time. 2 days later, Maya was carrying laundry downstairs when she accidentally dropped an entire basket near the building entrance. Clothes scattered everywhere. A sock landed directly in a puddle outside. "Perfect," she muttered under her breath. A man crouched beside her suddenly. Quiet. Gentle. He picked up a tiny pink sweater carefully. "You missed one." Maya looked up. Tall. Tired eyes. Wedding ring still on his finger. There was something deeply exhausted about him. Not lazy exhausted. Soul exhausted. She immediately stepped back slightly. Instinct. Protection. Daniel noticed. And slowly placed the sweater into the basket without moving closer. "Sorry," he said softly. "Didn't mean to startle you." His voice carried no aggression. No sharpness. Still, Maya's body remained tense. Years of emotional abuse had rewired her nervous system. Daniel stood awkwardly. Then noticed Lily near the stairs drawing with sidewalk chalk beside Noah. The two children were laughing like old friends. "That was fast," Daniel said. Maya followed his gaze. Lily hadn't laughed much lately. Not real laughter. Something loosened painfully inside her chest. She usually doesn't talk to people. Noah doesn't either anymore. Their eyes met briefly. And for one strange second, both recognized the sadness in the other. Not the details. Not the story. Just the weight. Daniel cleared his throat. "I'm Daniel." "Maya." A small silence followed. Then Noah yelled. "Dad, Lily says your pancakes look like dead turtles." Daniel sighed dramatically. "They absolutely do not." Lily giggled loudly. Maya almost smiled. Almost. That night, Maya sat alone in the kitchen after Lily fell asleep. The apartment was silent, except for traffic outside. She stared at unpaid bills spread across the table. Then at her old wedding ring sitting beside them. She still hadn't taken it off officially. Even after leaving. Even after everything. Because leaving emotional abuse didn't erase love overnight. That was the cruel part. You still mourned the person you hoped they'd become. Her eyes filled suddenly. She wiped them quickly. Then someone knocked softly at the door. Maya stiffened instantly. Fear shot through her body. Another knock. Gentler this time. She walked carefully toward the door and opened it halfway. Daniel stood there, holding a plate covered in foil. "I made too much pasta," he said awkwardly. "Actually, that's a lie. Noah refused to eat it and I didn't want to throw it away." Maya blinked in surprise. "Oh." He immediately looked embarrassed. "You can say no. This suddenly feels weird." For the first time in weeks. Maya laughed quietly. Tiny. Unexpected. Human. Daniel smiled faintly at the sound. And somehow, that hurt both of them a little. Because healing always starts with moments that feel unfamiliar. Weeks passed slowly. The children became inseparable. Lily and Noah built blanket forts in hallways. Shared snacks after school. Argued like siblings. Meanwhile, Maya and Daniel learned each other carefully. Like wounded animals testing safety. One evening, the four of them sat eating takeout on Daniel's apartment floor because Noah had accidentally broken the dining chair. Again. Lily laughed so hard milk came out her nose. Noah nearly passed out laughing too. And suddenly, Daniel heard something. Maya laughing. Real laughter. Warm. Uncontrolled. Alive. For a second, his chest tightened painfully. Because it sounded so much like Emily. His late wife. The guilt arrived instantly. Sharp. Disgusting. Like he'd betrayed her somehow just by enjoying another woman's laugh. He went quiet immediately. Maya noticed. You okay? Daniel stood abruptly. Yeah, sorry, just tired. But he wasn't tired. He was drowning. Again. That night, after the kids fell asleep during the movie, Daniel sat alone in his kitchen, listening to Emily's old voicemail. Over and over and over again. Then he quietly cried into his hands so his son wouldn't hear. A month later, Maya found Daniel outside the building at midnight sitting on the curb alone. Cold air surrounded them. He looked exhausted. She hesitated before sitting beside him. For several moments, neither spoke. Then Daniel said quietly, "Sometimes I still set 2 coffee mugs out in the morning." Maya looked at him. He laughed bitterly at himself. Muscle memory, I guess. Silence. Then Maya whispered, "I still apologize when nobody's angry." Daniel turned toward her slowly. The honesty in her voice felt raw. Dangerous. Maya stared ahead at the empty street. "He never hit me," she said softly. "That's the part people don't understand." Daniel stayed quiet. "He just controlled everything. What I wore, who I talked to, how I spoke if I laughed too loud." Her voice trembled. "Eventually you stop recognizing yourself." Daniel's jaw tightened. "He made you afraid." Maya nodded slowly. "And the worst part," tears filled her eyes, "some days I still miss him." She looked disgusted with herself saying it. Daniel answered immediately. "That doesn't make you weak." Maya looked at him. And for the first time in years, someone saw her pain without minimizing it, without questioning it, without telling her to move on. Her eyes overflowed quietly. Daniel didn't touch her, didn't rush comfort. He simply sat beside her in silence. And somehow, that kindness nearly broke her apart. Winter arrived slowly. The apartment building glowed warmly at night. The children decorated cookies together. Daniel fixed Lily's broken rabbit carefully with clumsy sewing. Maya started sleeping slightly better. And that terrified her, because happiness felt dangerous now. One snowy evening, Maya watched Daniel helping Noah with homework. Patient, gentle, tired but trying. And suddenly, she realized something horrifying. She was beginning to love him. Not dramatically. Not suddenly. Quietly. Like sunlight slowly returning after endless rain. The realization made her panic instantly. Because love had once destroyed her. Across the room, Daniel looked at Maya laughing softly with the children. And felt the exact same fear. Moving on felt wrong. Like betrayal. Like abandoning grief. Like Emily would disappear completely if he loved someone else. So both of them did what wounded people often do when things start feeling real. They pulled away. Daniel stopped inviting Maya over as often. Maya noticed immediately, but pretended not to. The children noticed too. "Did we do something wrong?" Noah asked quietly one night. Daniel's chest twisted painfully. "No, buddy." "Then why does Lily come over anymore?" "Because your dad is terrified. Because happiness feels temporary. Because grief convinces you loving again is disloyal." Daniel rubbed his face tiredly. "We've all just been busy." But Noah looked unconvinced. Meanwhile, upstairs, Maya sat awake replaying every interaction in her mind. Maybe she imagined the connection. Maybe Daniel regretted getting close. Maybe she was too damaged. Too emotional. Too much. That old voice returned again. Ethan's voice. "You make people tired." At 1:13 a.m., Maya quietly cried alone in her bathroom so Lily wouldn't hear. Everything exploded 3 days before Christmas. Lily collapsed at school from a severe asthma attack. Maya arrived at the hospital shaking violently. Doctors rushed Lily through double doors, while Maya completely fell apart in the hallway. I should have noticed earlier. Her breathing became erratic. Panic consumed her. Then suddenly, Maya, Daniel. He had Noah with him. Noah immediately hugged Maya tightly. Daniel gently took over speaking with nurses because Maya physically couldn't. An hour later, Lily stabilized. But Maya sat beside the hospital bed looking destroyed. Daniel stood quietly near the doorway. Then Maya whispered without looking up. When Ethan screamed, Lily used to hide in closets. Daniel froze. Maya's voice cracked. One night I found her covering her ears while hugging that rabbit. Tears rolled down her cheeks, and I still stayed. Daniel's eyes filled immediately. Maya finally looked at him. I kept telling myself emotional abuse was bad enough to leave. The shame in her voice was unbearable. Daniel walked closer slowly. You survived, he said softly. No, Maya shook her head crying. My daughter survived me. The room fell silent. Then Daniel whispered the truth he'd never told anyone. The night Emily died. His voice broke instantly. I felt relieved for 2 seconds. Maya stared at him. Daniel looked shattered, admitting it. Watching her suffer destroyed me, and when it stopped, tears filled his eyes. I hated myself for feeling relief. The confession hung heavily between them. Raw. Ugly. Human. Maya reached for his hand carefully. And neither of them let go. 2 weeks later, Ethan appeared outside the apartment building. Maya saw him through the window and immediately stopped breathing properly. Daniel noticed instantly. Who is that? Maya's face lost color. Ethan entered the building calmly, smiling. That terrifying calm smile. I just want to talk. Maya physically backed away. Daniel stepped forward instinctively. Ethan looked at him slowly. Oh, he said, so that's what this is. Maya whispered. Please leave. But Ethan ignored her. You really think this guy wants your baggage? Daniel's expression darkened immediately. Maya asked you to leave. Ethan laughed coldly. You don't know her. Daniel answered quietly. No, but I know fear when I see it. For the first time, Ethan lost composure. His face hardened. Then he leaned toward Maya slightly. You always ruin everything good in your life. The sentence hit her like a slap. Years of manipulation crashed back instantly. Maya began shaking. And Daniel realized something heartbreaking. Abuse didn't end when someone left. Sometimes it lived inside them for years. Daniel stepped between them fully. Get out. Ethan stared at Maya one final time before leaving. But the damage was done. That night, Maya packed a suitcase silently. Daniel found her near midnight. You're leaving. Maya couldn't look at him. He was right. No, he was. I don't know how to do this, she whispered, crying. Every time someone gets close to me, I panic. Daniel's eyes filled painfully. You think I do? Silence. Then Daniel finally admitted the truth. When I look at you sometimes, his voice shook, I feel guilty for surviving Emily. Maya looked up slowly. And when I look at you, she whispered, I feel guilty for wanting happiness after everything. Both broken. Both terrified. Both standing inches from love. And still afraid to reach for it. The storm hit the city hard that night. Power outages. Heavy rain. Sirens echoing outside. At 2 a.m., Noah woke up struggling to breathe from a severe panic attack after hearing thunder. Daniel rushed to calm him. But Noah cried hysterically. Mom used to help me. Daniel's heart shattered instantly. Because suddenly, he realized something devastating. Noah wasn't healing. He was grieving silently, just like him. Daniel held his son tightly. And for the first time in nearly a year, he finally broke down too. I miss her too, he cried. Noah sobbed against him. Across the hall, Maya heard everything through the thin apartment walls. Every broken piece of it. She stood frozen outside their door for several seconds, then finally knocked softly. Daniel opened the door holding Noah, completely wrecked emotionally. Noah immediately reached toward Maya, and without thinking, Maya held him close, rocking him gently. The storm raged outside, while the apartment stayed dimly lit by candles. Lily soon wandered sleepily into the room too. The four of them sat together quietly beneath blankets while thunder echoed outside. And in that small flickering silence, something changed. Not magically, not perfectly, but honestly. They stopped pretending they were okay. Daniel looked at Maya with tears still in his eyes. I don't want to replace her. Maya nodded slowly. I know. And I know you're scared. I am. Daniel stepped closer carefully. But maybe moving forward isn't betrayal. Maya's lips trembled. Then what is it? Daniel looked at the children sleeping beside each other on the couch. Then back at her. Maybe it's proof love mattered. Maya finally cried openly. Years of fear, pain, loneliness, exhaustion, all pouring out at once. Daniel pulled her gently into his arms. And for the first time, neither of them felt alone anymore. Spring arrived quietly months later. The apartment building no longer felt temporary. It felt like home. One Saturday morning, sunlight poured through the kitchen windows, while Lily and Noah argued loudly over pancake shapes. Daniel burned another batch. Maya laughed harder than she had in years. The sound filled every empty corner of the apartment. Warm. Alive. Real. Later that evening, Daniel visited Emily's grave alone for the first time in months. He placed fresh flowers gently beside the stone, then sat quietly. Wind moved softly through the trees. I still love you, he whispered. Tears filled his eyes. But I finally know loving someone else doesn't erase you. The guilt that haunted him for so long finally loosened. Not completely. Maybe never completely. But enough to breathe again. Enough to live again. Back at the apartment, Maya watched Lily asleep on the couch while Daniel washed dishes badly in the kitchen. Normal. Peaceful. Safe. She realized something important then. Healing wasn't dramatic. It wasn't cinematic speeches or perfect closure. Sometimes healing looked like burnt pancakes, shared exhaustion, quiet laughter, and people choosing to stay. Daniel walked over, drying his hands nervously. There's something I've been meaning to ask. Maya smiled softly. What? He hesitated, then held up Lily's repaired stuffed rabbit. One-eyed rabbit custody, shared or full-time. Maya laughed through sudden tears. And Daniel smiled too. Because after all the grief, all the fear, all the loneliness, they finally understood something neither believed possible before. Moving on wasn't betrayal. It was survival. And sometimes, survival slowly becomes love.